guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Sabythesimmer, aka Sabythesimmer. I hope you're doing well this Tuesday. If I'm a bit low energy today, just bear with me, okay? That time of the month has come, and honestly, I feel exhausted. But anyway, let's get into this build. We are back with another speed build. So I tuned into I'm So Psych's stream. I can't remember if it was not last week, I think the week before, and she had a base game like Reno challenge going on, so I was like, you know what, let me give it a try. So this is the Riverside Roost, I believe it's called, renovation, and it's the build that's originally in Widow Creek. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be a struggle getting my words out today, isn't it? So it's in Widow Creek originally. I believe it's just the one opposite the Pancakes house, I believe. I can't actually remember, but that's kind of like the area or the neighborhood that it's in. And I don't normally play in this house. I don't think I've ever played in this house, but after renovating it, I'll definitely be placing it down in my own saves and probably using it, to be fair, because I like the way it turned out. So with the renovation, you just have to leave the walls exactly as they are. The things you can change is like roofs and like different windows, and I believe as well like floor plans and all that kind of stuff. So all the interiors you can change that, but the shape of the build, size of the build has to stay exactly the same, like you would a normal kind of like building challenge or like a shell challenge, but the shell is already there, so you just have to like work with the shell that you got. So first things first, I knew I wanted to go in and delete all the roof pieces because I just could not cope. So I did go in and change all the roofs around. It doesn't look that different from the original. I didn't do like side-by-side shots for the screenshots at the end of like how the build looked. I've only got the front and like side exterior, like exterior of the build. The interiors I didn't do side-by-sides because it was just going to be so long. This video is already 34 minutes, bloody hell. And I didn't want it to be any longer than that, so I just stuck with showing you guys the screenshots from the renovated build. But if you're familiar with the build, you probably know what it kind of looked like. The top floor had a bedroom and a bathroom. The bottom floor had a bedroom, bathroom, I think. Did I have a bathroom? Yeah, and the kitchen, living space. I can't remember if I had a dining room. All I remember is it had a chess table, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep that. I don't ever really put chess tables in my builds, and it already had one, so I thought, let's just keep to the theme and keep a little chess table in there. So things I kind of changed was I had some spandrels. I think there were spandrels, but I can't remember if I just changed them. I can't remember what the spandrels looked like before. I've changed the banisters and the stair railings, and added in some new stairs. What else did I do on the exterior? I think I changed it so that the doors, there wasn't two front doors. I just didn't like the idea of that, so I just put down one kind of stair rail or staircase essentially for the front of the build, and then to exit to the garden, use the side exit or entrance, whatever you want to call it. And I went with a blue because blue is nice. Is it blue or is it more of a greeny blue? I don't know. I would say blue. It's pretty light. It's a nice tone of blue. And then I use like the brick for the roof accents just to like break the build up a bit. I didn't want it to look too samey, and I just felt like it added a little extra detail there. And then I've added some corbels as well and changed the roof colors and textures with like a brown, which I don't normally do, so I'm actually proud of myself for using brown more often because I normally use black. So yeah, I'm proud of myself for that one. This build is pretty pricey. Yeah, also, did I mention it has to be base game? I forgot to mention that. So it is a pricey build because it can only use base game, and I've explained before, like, using just base game items does limit you a bit in terms of price, because if you was looking to do a build on a budget, other packs have some items that are slightly cheaper, whereas base game, I don't know why, but some of the items can just be, it can really rack up on the price. So it's a very expensive build. It is 132,661 simoleons, so it's a lot. It is very expensive, especially because there's only like essentially a 2-bedroom home. With the I'm So Psyched challenge, they mentioned that they wanted to have a what do you call it? A story. Oh my goodness, my brain. A story. Is this what baby brain feels like? I would not know. But I had to create a storyline basically for this build and who was living there, all that kind of stuff. So I had in mind that originally, and I noticed here that we got new flooring, because this was right after the base game update. So I was looking at that going, what is different about this? Realizing it's a whole new wood swatch that we got in the, not wood swatch, it's a wood flooring that we got in the base game update, which is pretty exciting. Always can do some more free goodies. But anyway, as I was saying, yes, the storyline I went for this house was, it is a family of two. Yeah, well, I'm explaining it terribly. So it is a family and they have twins. Okay, there's a couple, they have twins, two girls, and they moved into Willow Creek about 10 years ago. So as soon as the girls were kind of born, they moved into Willow Creek. They needed more space, they needed a bigger home, and they moved into Willow Creek. And I had in mind that the mum is a doctor and she works at the Willow Creek Hospital, and then the father's kind of like an aspiring singer and artist. And it also had that Willow Creek has like great spots to go and perform in, so like the bar, I can't even remember what the bar is called in Willow Creek, but I just had in mind that he's heard a lot of great things about the bar in Willow Creek and thought it would be a great opportunity for him to just get himself out there a bit more, experiment with his music. I can't remember if I gave him like a actual like career, or if that was his passion for music was the only thing kind of fueling him. I wasn't sure. I can't remember what I wrote down in the captions for like the story. Like when I uploaded it to the gallery, I added some of the storyline to the comments to kind of explain my thought process through like decorating the house and like who lives there and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what I had in mind. So I had in mind that the wife, so what did I name them? I think I named them Angelo and Mary. So Angelo and Mary have their twins. I didn't give the twins names, but Mary's mum got ill and they decided that Mary's mum would come and stay with them. I think I named Mary's mum Rose. I just was using random names, okay? So Rose came to stay with the family whilst she was just basically recovering, getting better. She had people to look after her, and because the husband is, Angelo is pretty much just, I would say maybe like freelancing, so maybe he works from home a lot of the time. So maybe he works in like one of the freelance careers. Maybe he's a like a freelance artist maybe, or like a programmer, I'm not sure. So I had in mind that he's probably at home a lot more than his wife, because she's a doctor, so she's probably on call and just working crazy hours. So in my mind I just had that Rose was going to stay at the house and she would probably see more of Angelo than she would of her daughter. But anyway, I had that in mind. That was the storyline. And then a few weeks went by, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into close to a month, and Rose was feeling a lot better, but Rose was also really enjoying the time at home, and so was Mary. Mary really appreciated having her mum around the house and just being there to watch her grandchildren grow up and all that kind of stuff. So Mary did ask Rose if she wanted to live here permanently, and Rose couldn't say no, because Mary did ask as the twins were about. So obviously the twins were like begging their grandma to just stay forever and not leave them, basically. And I would imagine that Rose would live alone, so going from like living alone to like living in a house with her grandchildren, her daughter and her daughter's husband, I can imagine like it's a shift in her life. But I think she was also grateful for it, because she's like, I've had my time alone. I would imagine maybe Mary's the only child, and Mary probably moved out quite young, so Rose has had loads of time by herself. And I was speaking to a family member actually, and they said that this is the first time they're living alone, so their children have just all moved out. And I was just like, wow, that's actually quite interesting to think that only now you're kind of like living by yourself because your children have just left. And I was just like, I think in my mind sometimes we have these ideas of how life is, like you move out and live by yourself first, and then you have children, you meet your partner, you have children, and you know, this is all like stereotyping, it's not like everyone's life. So I think it was just interesting to hear like a family member say, actually this is the first time I'm living alone. I'm like, wow, okay. I know for me, I definitely want to live alone. First and foremost. I love my family, I love living at home, and I definitely feel like I will have moments where I'm gonna be like, oh, I miss everyone, or it's too quiet, but for the most part I'm gonna absolutely love it. Gonna absolutely love my time alone. But anyway, I'm rambling on. So anyway, Rose did eventually, well, she did stay because she couldn't say no to her grandchildren, her granddaughters, so she did stay. So what they did was they converted the office space into the room where Rose stays now. So the floor plan is kind of a weird one in the sense of they've got like a half bathroom downstairs, and then the twins have their own ensuite. Now I was thinking about it, and when I was looking through this build to edit it, I was like, I could have probably put the door for the bathroom in the dining area, so then it was a bit more accessible for everyone, as opposed to like the grandma having to go into the daughter's bedroom, like her grandchildren's bedroom, in order to use the bathroom. Does that make sense? So I could have probably done it differently, but at the same time, it just kind of worked out. That's how the floor plan worked out for me anyway. And I guess it works out different for everyone, depending on like the style of home you're doing or how you use the space, basically. So yeah, it's a bit of an awkward spot, but they did convert the office space into grandma's room. So Rose has a small room at the front of the house. It's a very small room, and there's a downstairs like half bathroom as well, so she can just use the bathroom, brush her teeth and all that kind of stuff in the half bathroom. But if she wanted a bath and a shower and have all the knickknacks and stuff around, it's going to be probably sharing with the twins' bed bathroom, which, yeah, I don't think is much of a problem. So I had in mind that the children now are like, the twins now are like children, because they'd moved here when they was probably toddlers and kind of had that time for them to age up, and they had that time off with them so they could really spend time with the children and all that. And yeah, Mary's back at work. I would imagine she's like, is it a senior doctor? I would imagine she's very high up in the ranks as a doctor, like she's very experienced and everything like that. I think she wanted to go back to graduate from university, so maybe she started her degree and then got pregnant and then had to like take a pause, or maybe it was just a matter of like she got pregnant and it was probably good, maybe it was like a really good timing as well, like a happy kind of accident, in the sense of like maybe she got pregnant at the end of like the first year of uni or something, and so that time in between she had a bit of time to just like have like go through the pregnancy, and probably went back into uni for like the second year possibly as she was coming closer to the end of her pregnancy, something like that. I had it in mind, so maybe the timing kind of worked out so it didn't affect her degree too much. But I can imagine like once the babies were here, she was probably like, I probably don't want to go back straight away. So yeah, she tried to probably juggle that as well with her partner, and I can imagine her grandma was helping out and around, and like also Angelo's family was around as well to help out. But the storyline I also had for the grandma, for Rose, is she's probably bored and hasn't got much to do. Like the children will be at school, Angelo probably is out and about, or he's working in his at the office space upstairs on the landing, and then Mary is obviously a doctor, so she's like on call, she's busy all the time. So I was like, what does the grandma have to do in her spare time? Like, what can she do? And I can imagine she's a great cook and she loves baking, so I had in mind that she would make like great apple pies, and like she's really known in Willow Creek for making the best apple pies, and everyone wants to request them and things like that. So I used the gallery to find some like fully grown apple trees, so I put them in the garden, so they have a bit of like an orchard, I think they call it. So she's just got her little space there where she grow apples and pick her apples and use them to make some really great apple pies. I also put the selling table, so I know this is a base game build, and the selling table technically comes with City Living, I think it is, or Seasons, I can't remember now. But because of the Sims sessions, we got some that came in the base game like debug. I can't really access them easily, so I have to go in the gallery and find it. So I believe I went on the gallery and typed in Sims sessions, something like that, and then someone has a room where they basically like put all the items on the room, and then you just pick out the item. But it was just doing that, and also trying to copy the apple tree into the garden was a bit of a faff, so I just cut that bit out of the process, and I thought I could just explain it to you guys and tell you guys what I did. But yeah, I just got the apple juice from the gallery, which I only really knew about when I watched Devon Bumpkin. Like if he's doing like a build with like landscaping and fresh produce and things like that, he'll go in the gallery and get like fully grown trees. And for some reason I thought it wouldn't work. I just thought if you put down a fully grown tree, it'd probably just like shrink back down again to like the, what do you call it, like a bulb, or just, yeah, I just didn't think it would be a fully grown plant. So yeah, interesting, glad I figured that out. But then I did some landscaping. I pretty much talked through the landscaping. I made a little drive as well, which I kind of like. I've never done a drive like that before in my builds, but I really like how it turned out. I ended up sorting the garden out, putting everything down, the dining table, the barbecue area with the bar, all of that kind of stuff, and then I pulled out the pagoda, I think it's called, and sized it down. But I didn't have a sim on the lot, so I couldn't test to see if it works, if it's still sized down, because on another build I've sized down a pergola before and it worked fine. So I was just wondering about this one. So with this one I had to like pause the build, I believe, at one point, and then go in with a sim to test it out, and it worked fine. Sorry guys, I had to take a phone call. It is my birthday today. Woo woo. So I did get a call from my aunt just wishing me happy birthday. I can't lie, I'm a bit emotional right now, because every year my grandma would call me on my birthday and like sing happy birthday down the phone. But she passed away last year, so it's a bittersweet moment at the moment, because I would know I could look forward to that call at least. But yeah, it's a bit of a bittersweet moment, but I don't want to get too emotional. Between the hormones, my birthday, my thoughts of my grandma, it's a lot. So let's carry on with the speed build before I start crying. So this was the grandma's, this is the grandma's bedroom. And yeah, like I said, it was the office originally. So it is a small little box room, not loads of space, but it does what it needs to do. It keeps her cozy and warm. I put a little radio in there. I just thought that'd be cute to have a little radio in there. Filling them with shelves when you raise up items is honestly the stress. But for some reason, I felt like with this build, I was really getting the hang of it. Like when you raise up items, they're either slightly too high or slightly too low for the shelf. And so like you have to like free place the shelf in order to get it to be having that, like to get it to have the items sit on it properly. It was just a bit of a faff. But I feel like this build, I used quite a few shelves, so I had to get used to it very quickly. So I add a robe and a rug into this bedroom, the room that Rose will be staying in, and then we move on to the hallway. So this is the little chess table. There was one originally in the build, like I said, so I just thought I'd put another one down. I don't believe it was actually this one. It was probably another one, but I just liked this one, so I did that. And I hate like hallways that just feel really empty. Like in real life, there'd probably be stuff in there. So in The Sims, I want there to be stuff. So I just put this little cabinet thing, which would usually go outside a bathroom, but I can imagine it was just some extra things. And also I was thinking, with the grandma coming to stay and her living probably alone, I was like, what is gonna happen to the place where she was staying? Was it like an apartment or something? Maybe she lived in Evergreen Harbor. I was like, where's they have a place with apartments? So maybe she lived there and she was in one of those apartments, and so maybe that they could be renting it out possibly, so that's another way of like getting some income. But like with the stuff that she had at the apartment, she probably just took some of the stuff with her, put it into storage, or put some of the stuff in the house. So I can imagine like maybe that little cabinet thing was from her place where she wanted to bring it because it had her knickknacks in it and like the stuff that she wanted to have in the house, and there was not a lot of room in there. There wasn't a lot of space in her room, so I can imagine that she just brought it along with her. I was tempted to put a chair in between the hutches that I put there, but I didn't in the end. And I kind of like the idea of putting like a table in the center of the room and a little rug, just a little something to add to the room, or not even to the room, just the hallway, just make it look a bit more interesting. So here we are in the living room, and originally I went with this base game. Oh, Sabrina, why do you keep doing that? Originally I went with this couch, and then I decided to change the swatch to green and like match that with the other armchairs. And yeah, I've fiddled around with this room so much. Like I just wasn't sure how to decorate it, what to do with it, where to put a TV and all that kind of stuff, because I did this thing with the doors. As you can see, they look like they're open and like it's a double door. So I can't remember if I've seen someone do this or if I just remember seeing someone do it and then being like, I can't remember exactly how they did it, but I have an idea, because I've seen someone probably do it several times in like a speed build before, but I don't think I was paying attention fully to the method they use. But I'm pretty sure, why am I spitting into the mic? I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. So you put the archway there first, and then you add doors and at a diagonal. I mean, not doors, walls, sorry, at the diagonal. So where the doors are is where the walls were, at a diagonal. Then you place the doors there, get rid of and then you move the doors with free placement so they can look like it's all connected, like it's on hinges, and then you just get rid of the doors, and then it gives you this effect here, and it works perfectly fine. None of the Sims complained about the space or anything, which was great to see. And then I put a mirror on the wall, and then I ended up moving the gallery picture, not gallery picture, but like the family portrait thing, so that we could have the mirrors. I don't know why, but I love a mirror in a big mirror in a room, because I feel like it makes it look a bit bigger. But it just looks interesting, which I was actually talking to my aunt about this the other day, because she saw someone's house and they had like a big mirror in their living room, and she was like, yeah, I kind of want that for mine as well. And I was like, yeah, I do like the feel of it. It's nice. It's a nice vibe. But yeah, we're moving on to the kitchen now. Kitchen was very easy to do because it was literally just a big square. I knew as well what I had in mind of how I wanted the layout to be. I knew I wanted an island at somewhere. I just feel like if you have a square kitchen, sometimes it can just look a bit like everything squashed to the sides, so I feel like adding in the island just helped a little bit. And then I've made this section here the little like coffee and tea area. As I was building, like editing this speedball, thinking like, I wonder if they'll give us like a tea and coffee machine, or not even that, a kettle. That's what I was thinking of, not a tea and coffee machine, a kettle, and it just comes with all the options from the teas and the coffee, which is probably a lot, because I'm pretty sure they've added more options onto coffees based on like, is it Get Together? Maybe there's like more coffee options with like Get Together, I believe. So I don't know if they'd add all those onto it, but like I just want a kettle and a toaster, you know? And so like you have to click the toaster to make like toast dishes. So if you wanted like a cheese toasty, or, well, actually you wouldn't really put a cheese toasty in toast, but like, I don't know, I want a toaster so that your Sims could just have toast. Do you know now we can make milk bread? Maybe we could be like, whatever bread you have in the fridge, you can toast. Is that too much? Maybe I'm asking for too much. I'm trying to think of how that could work in the game, and I don't know how it could work, but that's what I'd want. Let me know in the comments what you'd want in The Sims. If you have any like kitchen appliances or any things that you want in The Sims that you're just like, I have it in normal life, I want to see it in The Sims. Because I like the normal life stuff in The Sims. I don't know why, but I just find it so like comforting. And I saw a photo the other day, and it was of a kitchen, and it had the washing machine and the dryer in the kitchen, but they had like a covering. Do you know like the Parenthood fridge? Kind of like that. Little case kind of thing. I was like, I want to build that in The Sims, but how am I going to make that work? But either way, I was like, I want to have this in my kitchen. Like, I want to build this in The Sims. I just don't know how. But yeah, I'm just adding a bits of clutter around and making sure there's plenty of counter space still to cook and everything on. So we've got at least 2 to 3 counter spaces, and then also the islands, which I've centered things on. So you should be able to use that as well to cook and everything on there. I didn't play test any cooking. That's the only thing I didn't play test. And do you know what I did forget to play a test at first was like baths and showers. So it was only as today I was trying to get some clips. I didn't like the lighting when I was doing the clip of like zooming into the build, so I redid it today. And as I was doing it, I was like, my son was complaining because the hygiene was low, so I was like, just go in the shower. And they was like, they couldn't get in the shower, and I was like, what's the problem? What's happening? And then I realized that I have the clutter piece of clothing on the top of the rug, and I thought Sims could just walk over it, because I don't think I've ever had any problems with it before. Granted, I've not really put it anywhere where Sims would necessarily walk on it, but for some reason I just thought it'd be fine. So yeah, if you download this build, you will have to remove the like clothes piece of clutter that's on the floor. It's just one piece, so you just can pick it up and delete it. It's not loads and loads of stuff that you have to delete or anything like that. But to use the bathroom that's downstairs, the ensuite from the twins' bedroom, you will have to remove the clothes. That's the only thing I've noticed today. So apologies for not just play testing that part and then deleting it beforehand, because for some reason sometimes I forget what I should be play testing. Like, it sounds weird, but like sometimes I'm like, okay, I've got my sim to sit on all the chairs and like just play musical chairs, and then I kind of forget like what else do I test out essentially. But I think I should just remember to test out everything, like get them to cook, get them to use all the toilets and the bath, like everything. Just get them to test everything, and then that way you'd have no issues. And I put some lights under the cabinets as well. I love doing this. It just feels a bit more realistic, and you'd have some like under the cabinets lighting. One thing that I didn't do, which I've been doing a lot recently in my builds, is like when I go into live mode to take screenshots, I changed all the lights to the white light. I changed every single light in the house to a white light. I don't do it manually, that's long. I will just click on one light and change all lights for like white lights. But that's one thing I didn't do for this build, because these yellowy lights I'm just not a fan of. I'm just not a fan. I really don't like them. So yeah, apologies if you don't like a yellow light as well, because I think like sconces and stuff have a bit of a yellow light. Yeah, this is the dining room now. We've moved on quite quickly, and this build, I don't like. What frustrates me is I'm a bit like, how did this build total up to 34 minutes when I feel like we're getting close to the end? Because after I've done the dining room, I do the toddler's room, the twins' room, their bathroom, because the other 2 bathrooms were done already, and then the upstairs bedroom, and then also the little landing area up on the stairs. That's all I have to do left. Like, I don't understand. I mean, technically that's 10 minutes of footage. No, it isn't. It's less than that then, because the whole video is 34 minutes. That is very weird. Okay, I'm complaining about nothing then. Because I think this is quicker than I thought it was. Like, when I was editing, I was like, oh my gosh, are we done yet? I was just so over it, because I was just so tired and drained. And I hate feeling like this. I like when my energy is like in a good place, but sometimes you can't help it, can you? I'm tempted to take a nap. I really am tempted to take a nap. But this is the dining room. I fiddled with the space in where I'm going to put everything for so long as well. Like, my building, I still, like, at this point, I thought I would be used to, like, where to put things or how to place things. But I just guess I overthink too much, because it just takes me way too long to decide what items to put down and where to place them, what looks nice. I just make a fuss of it. I end up putting the trees in front of the archway, and then the plants, and then I think I get rid of the mirrors. Do I get rid of them, or do I move them to the archway as well? The walls just felt a bit bare, so I just stuck in a little sconce, and I stuck in that little coat rack as well. And what else do I do in this room? I think that's it. It's just trying to get the same heights as well. but it's hard to do. So I just moved the frame to see where it was on the other side, and then moved it to where the sliding doors were, to kind of get the right height. And that's me just adding some sconces around. The bathroom was probably really quick because I just copied it from the upstairs bathroom. So the parents have their own ensuite as well. In the original build, you could access the bathroom, but like on the landing, but I kind of cut the landing so that you have a bit of a, what do you call it? I forgot what you called it when you can see over the like stairs. What is it called? I can't remember what it's called. When you're like on the landing but you can see downstairs, what is that called again? I forgot what it's called, but I'm pretty sure there's a name for it. But yeah, I just cut out some of it because I just didn't like where the stairs were placed and like what was shown and what wasn't. So I just cut it out and was like, the parents gotta have their own ensuite. It's not gonna cause any problems at all. And they also have a balcony from the room. Originally I was gonna put the twins' room upstairs because I just felt like, you know, the children should probably be upstairs, the parents be downstairs. But then I was like, I don't want anyone to come at me and be like, why have the children got a balcony? What are they gonna do with a balcony? I know it's The Sims. And no one's ever like complained about a build or anything like that, so it's not necessarily like I'm like, oh, it happens all the time. But I was just like, I wasn't sure how to do things, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put the parents upstairs. How about that? And it worked out fine. It's not even a big problem. And I kind of like the idea of the twins being downstairs. They're not exactly alone. Their grandma's literally at the front of the house, so if any of them tried to do anything crazy, like, I don't know, open the front door or do something crazy, then the grandparent was there right away to be like, hello, what are you doing? Why? Stop that. Then this is the twins' bedroom, and I did make it pretty girly, but then I also had just like a mix of random things to make it look like a child's room, because I can imagine they're still pretty early on into the child stage, so they're not even that close to like being teens yet. So I just wanted it to be kind of fun and like also a bit girly and like, yeah, just loads of different random colors and stuff in there as well. Things on the wall, posters, and like the little mirror. I love that little mirror, it's so cute. Some clutter on their desk, and generally some clutter around the room, to be fair. I put like a lunchbox on the floor and then another lunchbox on the kitchen island. In my mind I was kind of just like, there's always that one child, I bet, like out of the twins, one of them's always like, I always remember to put my lunchbox on the kitchen counter so mum can clean it, or dad can clean it, or granny can clean it, and then they can like repack it for like for lunch the next day. Whereas the other twin is just like, oh, I've just left it on the floor in my bedroom, kind of thing. Like I like the idea of like having opposites, or like having twins that are like not fully the same, or like some of them just have different personalities and things like that. I just find it fun. But I was watching Carmen's video and she was talking about how she always uses twins. I was like, I do like twins in the game, especially if I'm like, I want multiple children but I don't want multiple pregnancies. So I'll just like change the lot trait to on the lay. What is your favorite kind of family setup? Are you like a nuclear family, you know, 2-parent home, 2 children? Do you like a single parent home? I like a single parent home because it's a little bit more fun in The Sims, because you have to like do a lot more and juggle a lot more, and I don't know why, but like it's fun to do. Obviously in real life I can't imagine that's very fun at all. But that's probably why I do it in The Sims, because I know it's not going to be my life, and it's not my life at the moment, so I'm just a bit like, I can just pretend to be in a different world and do things totally different to how I would normally do things. But I do love me some family gameplay. I'm really enjoying the high school pack as well. I have a couple of builds coming up when I've used some of the stuff. Well, I say, yeah, I do. I was like, how many builds have I done? I don't know where it came from, but I've just done like back-to-back builds. So I've got a few videos just like ready for me to edit, which feels amazing, especially because I'm back to house sitting again this weekend. So I'm not going to be like at home to be able to film and edit and stuff like that. So to know I've got videos that I can just put out for you guys and get them edited and sorted feels great. But yeah, the children's room came together pretty easily. I put a little old TV in there. Again, I imagine that the grandma had this TV and brought it with her, and like the children would always like sit in the grandmother's room to like watch the little TV or something like that and like fight over which channel to use. So the grandma just eventually was like, you know what, I'm right next to the living room, you guys take the little TV, I'll sit in the living room if I ever want to watch TV. I just thought it would be a cute idea to kind of have some knickknacks and things that grandma brought over and like now kind of pass over to the children. I know that's been similar for me. Like I've had a really old TV, like a little one that looks like it was portable almost. It was like a round little chunky TV, and I'm pretty sure my grandma gave me that. So it was just cute to think of like these little things you can just pass on to different family members, and it feels a bit more like The Sims have history or lives that are a bit more impactful or like multi-dimensional, as opposed to just like, you know, random like however you choose. So this is the last room of the house. This is the parents' bedroom, and I end up adding another window. I just like balance. Okay, I really like balance, and it was just, if I'm honest as well, I didn't know what to do with the space. So I was a bit like, if I add another window and I add a curtain, I don't have to think about it. I did also shuffle the bathroom around because I ended up moving the bathroom door to like a bit of the corner. So I ended up moving the bathroom around, but I cut that out because I was like, you guys will see it in the screenshots. And honestly, you won't miss anything. I promise you, you're not missing anything. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up now because we are going to come to the end. So I want you guys to enjoy the screenshots. I want you to enjoy the rest of this speed build. I am going to be streaming today on Twitch. I'll leave the link in the description. If you want to come join, please do. It'd be nice to celebrate with you guys. And yeah, I did have to push those bedside tables back into the curtains because when I tried to get my sim into bed, they was complaining. So in the one that you guys get, they will be clipping into the curtains, but that's the only way I could get the sims to use it. I could use short curtains if you want to, but yeah, that's just something to bear in mind. But yeah, like I said, live on Twitch today. And also, I'm on Twitter. If you want to come and follow me on Twitter, please do. The link is in my description as well. I'm also on Instagram. Please do come on Instagram and say hi. Also, if you do want this build, it is up on the gallery. My gallery ID is Sabythesimmer, where all my builds are. Enjoy this one. Again, it is a base game only build, so you can play it no matter where you are playing this game, and also what packs you have. Just enjoy the build. Change it, renovate it, do whatever you want with it. But I hope you enjoy it, guys. Take care. I shall see you soon for another video. Bye.